Hey, what's going on? It's your boy jumping on again one more time for today, I think, and then I'm out your way. But I just wanted to jump on and share some more insights. Told y'all I've been feeling myself, y'all, so I need an outlet. As much it's equal distribution, in and out, input and output. So I'm feeling myself, and I got to release it so I can make room for more. So um, just more of my insights gained, along this journey. And when I think about it, like I was saying in the last video, it's a rabbit hole because initially what I thought I was starting out for has transcended, pun intended, and it's deeper than I even know. And initially, one of the catalysts and the things that set me out on this journey was the parable of the sower. I believe that is foundational, the whole foundation of the Bible, mainly the New Testament. But even Jesus said that if you don't understand this parable, then you won't understand anything that he says. I think it's that foundational, and we are included. We are, as far as the key to life and how to really navigate it. I think it contains a lot, pretty much everything that that can use us to grow, into who we're supposed to be. What really started this out maybe a couple months ago was me reading and doing an in-depth study on the parable of the sower and setting out not to just read it but to embody it and become the word, allow it to incarnate and become flesh and become a reality in my world. And so it's just amazing starting out with that and then where it has led. And like I was saying in the last video, ultimately we always perceive things to be out there, but the deeper that you get, and the further you get along in your journey, you realize that everything really is from the inside out. It starts inside out as opposed to the paradigm that we've been programmed that to look for everything external. Even Jesus said that the kingdom of God is within, and not to look for it with outer observation. Is within, and I believe from Genesis to Revelation, the Bible is just an unveiling journey, revealing what has already been there. But of course, this world system and paradigm would have you looking out there for what's been in you the whole time. And I even think there is a ancient parable or maxim that says that if God wanted to hide himself from man, where would he put him? And it says that he would hide himself within man because it's the last place that we will look. And it really is holds to be true. And the way that religion and just the thought system has been set up, it has trained us to look for God everywhere but outside of ourselves. And so even hearing it sounds blasphemous, or it sounds so far-fetched, or we can only go so far. Like, yeah, God is in me in measure, or a little seed of him is in me, and the more good works and the more I serve him and the more I extend myself to this invisible concept of a sky daddy out there somewhere that rewards us according to our service, the more of him that I will receive. And it's all erroneous, and is the true concept of the gospel and just spirituality, period, is so simple that it offends the mind that just has to have logic and reason and make sense. But it really all is so simple. And the whole essence of it is Christ in you, the hope of glory. The whole fact is that everything that we are looking for is on the inside of us. And so that's what the parable of the sower really began to really open my eyes up to. And then how there are four different levels. If you notice in the parable, there are four different scenarios that he painted, or four different types of soil that he painted, and were three out of the four, the seed didn't really take root like that. And then you have the fourth level where the seed took root, but there were still different levels. There were still three different variations, 30, 60, or 90. And he said that that's according to what you put in, you get out. He said, to him who has, more will be given. And so there are three different measures because you have people that are only willing to go so far. And so pretty much what you get in is what you put out, is what he was saying. He said, to him who has, more will be given, and to him who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And he said that, it's according to the measure of the thought and the study and the diligence that we give ourselves to is what we will receive back from it. And that's just a principle that remains true in life. And so to tie that in with overcoming of self and just even free, guys, it's like, how do those three things go together? What I noticed was that I love the free guy, free plug. It's just like, I'm not really a movie person like that. And even when I do watch movies, it's very rare that I find ones that interest me or hold my attention. I enjoy rom-coms. I enjoy comedy. I enjoy different variation. I really don't enjoy horror. But my biggest thing is I like psychological thrillers, and I like things that make me think. And I really love Free Guy because it like incorporates pretty much almost everything that I really I study and I enjoy, as far as like just reality being a simulation or a video game, just that within itself, more so along the theme of like Matrix, what it introduced. But I think Free Guy is way better and more entertaining. It's just a great movie, and so much is contained in it. But this is not a review of that movie. If I did that, we'd probably be here 2-3 hours and probably still wouldn't scratch the surface of everything that is revealed. But I love it so much, and just the message that it conveys, and I think it really tells the condition of our society, especially now more than ever. But it more so shows a story of what's possible. It gives hope. And if the plot is more so of like a coming from the bottom, to the top hero type of thing, because you have a guy, NPC, a background player, a random or miscellaneous, but he always had within him the notion that there was more out there, or that he could do better, and that life had to be more than this. And I think it starts with a desire. And so just even that right there, tying that back into us, like I was saying, with God hide himself in us, like we are more than just a human being per se. We're not just this flesh suit that we have on with a brain or a mind that we barely use, just meant to go through life like a robot or an automaton. But no, we really are God himself embodied in flesh. This suit that we have on, this body is just like an avatar, if you want to put it, so to speak, in video game terms. It's an avatar, but it's not the totality of who we are. And contained within this avatar is God himself, or divinity in flesh. It's that spark, that seed within us that once our awareness of it grows, it's always been there in fullness. But the more we grow aware of it and cultivate and live from that place, the more we experience. And so for the fact that he knew that it was more to life than just a humdrum existence, shows that he had more in him the whole time. The potential was always there, but it was his choice to whether to cultivate it or to continue to go along with life as usual. And he chose to pursue it and what it looked like for him. And to make a long story short, come to find out, he started out as an NPC or a background player, but it was in his code the whole time for him to grow and to be more than what it is that he initially was. Like, it was in his coding. Same thing with us. And like I said, with divinity being incarnated or enwrapped in flesh, like it's in us from the beginning, in our programming and in our code, in our very cells and DNA, at the essence of who we are. We are more than what we see. But it's up to us to go beneath the surface and cultivate and see what that looks like, seek and explore it out, cultivate it, develop that potential, and continue to grow. Or we have the choice to not do anything with it at all and continue to go through life as it is, at a surface existence, and live and die and never cultivate and come to who you really were. It's really a choice. That's where free will comes in at. Pardon me, I had to take a drink. I'm not used to talking so much. But it's within us. It's free will. It's a choice. So we can go left or we can go right. The Bible says that I have set before you blessings and cursings, life and death. choose this day. And so we definitely have a choice. He desires that we choose the path that he reveals to us from the time that we're born to the day that we live. I don't believe that he's still not tugging and striving and trying to open up our eyes to get to see who we are and who we were created and who we were from the beginning and just our purpose and being here. So like I said, long story short, it was coded within his avatar or his character that he had the potential in him to become more. And so with him, he broke the mold and went against the natural order. And it just really shows a story of him coming from the bottom to the top and leveling up and really coming into who he was meant to be from the whole time, but he did it in an unconventional way. Because the thing about the NPCs or background characters is that they were created in the background to pretty much be the punching bags and the toys of the real players, so to be that punching bags, shoot, kill, rob, do anything that they wanted to do to them. That was their purpose. And so he went counter to what everybody else was doing, and he made his claim to fame, and he made his claim to fame and leveled up by being a good guy. And he leveled up pretty quick. But he did it, like I said, he did it his way to where he became an icon. And it was revealed, people thought that it was a real player in a skin the whole time, and which went against the rules, which was a cheat code. But ultimately, he was just a glitch in the matrix. He was artificial intelligence. And so it was a glitch in the matrix. It was not supposed to happen, but like I said, he was coded. It was within his code, so he had the potential, and he was just one out of million, or millions that really rose to the occasion, and eventually he was a catalyst, and he gathered all of the other NPCs and started a movement. Like it's really the rags to riches, from the bottom to the top, hero type of plot, and I love it. And what really stood out to me was that correlating it, bringing it all home to correlate with overcoming self and the parable of the sower is that, like I said, it's 4 levels of soil in the parable of the sower, but the first 3, and I see it as like a progression. And like initially it said that the word was given, but it fell upon soil, or it fell upon stony ground, so it didn't have anywhere to take root, and so it was immediately swallowed up. Kind of self-explanatory. Second level, it was talking about it fell upon shallow soil. So the word fell, the word, concept, idea, desire, it fell upon soil. It started to take root for a little while, but eventually the pressure became too much, and then the pressure from the actual seed, but it wound up being scorched by the sun. And so, it said that it endured for a while, but eventually it wound up wilting under the pressure, and under the heat, and that was the second level, kind of self-explanatory. And then you had the third level, and I believe that the third level is really where I want to focus on, because it said that at that level, that's when the cares of life comes in, the deceitfulness of riches, and a desire for other things. And what really stood out to me was that that is the level where a lot of people forfeit, because you have, the percentages start to get lower. It tapers off and gets lower the further in the process you go. So not really many people make it to that level, and I see why those that do. Out of those that do, even initially, if they start the process, they don't stay on it long, because there's a lot of pressure associated with that level, because you have gone from dealing with things that are outside of yourself to now, when you get to that level, seeing that you're almost at the boss level stage. It gets intense, and come to find out this whole time you thought you was battling outside forces and entities, and you get to that level, you kind of find out that the biggest enemy you'll ever fight is you and yourself. And that's what that represents for me. And I've seen that and observed it in my own life. Like it said that the cares of this world, that it's like the deeper you go in the process and the more progress you start to make, that's when things start to magnify and turn up. And that's one thing that also correlates with the movie. It's just like after he leveled up, he became the big guy, he had made a name, and then come to find out that this whole thing was just a okay, he found out that the life, is really a game. Like he thought it was likened to a game, but come to find out that it's really a game. He wasn't a real character, so he had to deal with that blow. And then outside of that was a more sinister plot, and so it was bigger than him. And so once they started going down and unraveling that rabbit hole, that's when the opposition turned up. And at one point in the movie, the developer even said, like, throw everything you got at them. And that's what stood out to me, that phrase and that statement, because it's like once you set out on a journey for growth, self-development, goal, you want to reach goals, or you just want to do better. You set out, it's a journey. You don't exactly know what it is that you sign up for. And it's like once you get to a certain part of the process and you go around certain mountains so many times, you kind of get immune to it, and you see the pattern in that. And so you transcend past that, and it's like the heat gets turned up or it gets magnified. And that's that third level of the parable of Sower we want to talk about. It said the cares of this world. And so it's like everything wrong, it seems that way anyway. Everything that can go wrong goes wrong. And it's like once you get past that level in yourself, then it'll be things around you. It's like rattling a hornet's nest. Once you get to a certain point, and it's like you hit a hornet's nest or a bee's nest, and it's like everything comes to swarm you to try to overwhelm you. So whether it's car issues, lose your job, you're probably gonna get into it with your spouse just randomly, just irritations, minor irritations that usually wouldn't be magnified are now big things. Small foxes, they say the small foxes spoil the vine. Your kids' behavior. It gets deep, like I said, you've gotten past yourself, so now it's trying to get your attention to focus on things that are outside of yourself. So, God forbid, it may be tragedy, so for some people, they experience more than others. I pray and would hope that that's not your story, but it gets pretty deep and intense, because it's all to divert your attention, which is what I was saying in the last video is attention is energy. Energy is our currency. So everything in this world is vying for your attention. Even just the whole construct of social media is designed for your attention. And once they get your attention, they want to monetize it. It's all about attention. Your attention is your energy. That's why it is important that we take control and command and authority over what it is that we put into our vessel, our mental diet, because you are so surrounded and bombarded on every hand with all forms of content, and distractions designed to get your attention, to keep you unfocused, and to keep you in kind of like a vegetative or zombie-like state, but also so that you can be capitalized and monetized off of. So it's all about your attention. And so the closer that you get to the core of yourself and mastery, that's why things are magnified. So then you got the cares of this world. So you level up and you get stronger and you get past that. Then it says the deceitfulness of riches come in. And that's kind of self-explanatory, especially in this world that is with a system designed around money or mammon. It's easy to get carried away by that desire or lust for more, which is not wrong. We have an innate desire to express abundance because we come from it and we are abundant at our nature, but they just kind of just want to misplace the desire and derail your focus. So the deceitfulness of riches comes in. And then that last one, it says, or the desire or the lust for other things. And that one thing is what really stood out to me. It was like the closer you get again to really discovering who you are, and the deeper you go and the more you learn about yourself, is like, I was just using myself as an example. It's like it comes from the subconscious. The subconscious is really pretty much just doing its job, which is it is the security system or the guard dog of your brain. That's where all of our habitual programming is. Whether it benefits us or not, it feels like, well, this is the programming that you've had. It benefits you, benefited you and brought you this far. So anything that you try to introduce that goes against your programming is going to set your subconscious mind on high alert, and it's just doing its job. It perceives new information or anything that's outside the realm of what you're used to. It perceives that as an invader, and so its design and job is to keep invaders from getting in and to keep your program, the contents of the programs that it contains, keep them from getting out. So that's where self-sabotage mechanism comes in, to where just random stuff. Like I just found myself being distracted or easily distracted. Anxiety or just antsiness. It's just like you got to get up and do something. You're thinking about the dishes in the kitchen that you didn't do, or cleaning the bathroom, or the video that you forgot that you saved from last week that you never got around to, or random appetites, random cravings, and just all type of distractions to this where since the resistance or opposition that you perceive is no longer coming from the outside, it's coming from inside of you, and it's just random, and it's all meant to derail your attention to get you off of the path and the journey that you are on. Because once you break through, oh man, it is, man, nirvana, paradise on the other side. And so, like I said, come to find out that your biggest enemy is yourself. And that was the key component at the end of the movie that really drove it home for me. Because, like I said, the developer of the game, the closer that guy and Molotov girl, I think her name was Millie, she was one of the developers as well, they teamed up and they were unraveling the plot of the developer who initially stole the design from Millie and I think the guy Keys. They were the developers of a game. He took their mode, or he bought it from them, and he used it for his own, but he perverted the purposes for which they created it and built his own empire. Told you, it's a great movie. It's deep. To fully delve and go into it, we'd be here forever. I don't have that type of time, and I don't know if y'all would sit and listen to me for that long, honestly. So the more and the deeper down the rabbit hole they got, the more they were unraveling this plan. I told you at one point in the movie, he said, throw everything that you have at him. And eventually they broke through all of that. So he had to go through extreme measures. Come to find out, he took Guy's code and he pretty much cloned him. But the only thing is he added enhancements. But he didn't have a brain. So he made him stronger. He was a fighter. Like, he was everything that Guy was, but he was magnified, but he didn't have brains. And so you got Guy at the end of the movie fighting against Dude. And that's why I was saying that this journey, bring it all home. The parable of the sower, overcoming yourself, and free Guy. Ultimately, once you get to the boss level or the last stage of the game, you come to find out that everything around you was an illusion and it was a distraction to keep you from getting to this point. Since you've gotten to this point, the whole fight the whole time was you versus you. And that's what it is. At the end of the day, we have us fighting against ourselves. I told you, your subconscious brain or subconscious mind, the ego, fighting against the flesh, which is the, like I said, divinity in us. Some may call it spirit, some may call it the soul. It's that spiritual essence in us that lets us know that we're more than the body with the brain. And that's the part. Those two are at odds, fighting against each other. So you have Guy versus Dude, or you have the ego versus the spirit, or the ego / flesh versus the God, Christ within me. And ultimately, that's what it's about. And ultimately, Guy did overcome, and he overcame Dude, and he made it past the barrier that the developer had created, and he made it to paradise, which revealed the original mode or the game that was created. It was paradise. I think it was called Free Life or something like that. But essentially, to me, that was a type and shadow of, or picture of Eden. And so paradise was right outside the city limits. There was a barrier that was separating it but it was in front of the people's eyes the whole time. And the whole time that guy was living his monotonous life every day, one of his routines is that he would say good morning or a great day to his fish, and he would go to his blinds and he would open them. Come to find out that the picture or the image of paradise that was free life, it was on his blinds. So every time he closed his blinds, the imprint or the image of Eden or paradise was in front of him the whole time. So that means that he was compelled and driven by an image that was within his view. So it makes sense why it was within him in seed form, and he was compelled to manifest his destiny and become who he was originally coded to be. I know that's a lot. And so I don't want to make this video longer than what it is. I hope you guys have derived value from it. I appreciate you if you've lasted this long in the video, giving me your time and attention, which I don't take for granted. And appreciate you guys for lending an ear and giving me audience, continuing to support the content. Asking that you like, share, comment, subscribe, follow, do all those good things depending on what platform you're finding this content on, and be looking out for more. Until next time, peace.